Hi, this is Rahim Zulfikar Ali. In this video tutorial, I will teach you how to create dynamic and interactive dashboard in Microsoft Excel 365 version. Our primary focus will be on exploring the dynamic array formulas, and we will be also using Microsoft Power Query to append different time periods data. We will explore how these interactive dashboards can be made easily by using Excel latest versions and features. So this is a comprehensive video tutorial for those who want to learn how to create dynamic and interactive dashboards in Microsoft Excel version. So as you can see, I have here a data for 3 years, and then I have made some workings. So this is primarily the solve file, whereas we will be learning from the scratch, from zero, that how we can start, how to create logics, what kind of alternative options or features available in Excel, what are those features have limitations or anything related to that. Okay, and our as I told you that our primary and main focus will be exploring the dynamic array formulas, such as you can see, I have used take, group by, right? And also to make a drop down list, so I have used VSTACK, sort, unique functions as well. I will also show you if your organization is following fiscal year from July to June. So what are those necessary changes we need to do in taking care of our dashboard? And I will show you also if the organization works for calendar like Jan to December. So what will be the technical approach? So let's get start. If you can see, I have a folder, and this is the first subfolder, which is named as database. So in this folder, we have just one file for now, which is for the year 2020. And this is approximately 3.14 MB file, okay? And we will get this data by using the Microsoft Power Query in Excel. Okay, and later on, when we start creating the dashboard, we also copy and paste the next year data, that is 2021 and 2022, and we'll not copy and paste by opening those files manually. What we do is first we will link this database folder, okay, and after using the Power Query, I will copy these two files and paste just into these folders, and we will just click on refresh in our Excel sheet, and that data will automatically gets append. So we'll learn that how to do the appending part through the Power Query as well. All right, so let's get start. All right, so as you can see, this is the final dashboard which we will be creating and learning that how I have created this. But let's first discuss about the layout of this dashboard. So primarily, the layout is being definitely for real-time and practical example. The user discuss the layout and important numbers or visualizations with their reporting managers or senior managers. So they discuss with each other, and then they decide that how and what are those objects we want to put it on the dashboard on top side and left side, and what are those important KPI numbers we need to drive in order that senior management could take and identify the business challenges or opportunities easily from these dashboards, right? So remember, whenever we spend time in creating MIS reports or financial models or dashboard report in Excel, our main focus is basically we provide these such interactive and dynamic business reports to the senior management, and they have the decision making power, and they based on their experience, they see and scrutinize the business numbers, and then they take the decisions or make strategy for going or next years, right? So if we discuss the layout, this is not the final or mandatory layout that every user will be following this sequence. I mean, it's just a contingency approach. Whatever kind of uh, KPIs or visuals as per your organization requirement is, but this is just a standard layout where you might have observed on social media platforms such as LinkedIn or Facebook, right? People try to get the public data sets, and they come up with such decent color schemes and layouts and try to put these standard visualizations to make interactive dashboards. So I have thought this particular layout with that particular concept in order to generalize, because this particular video is relevant not just for the one segment, that is the call center. If you are professional and working in organization and you handle a lot of data, and your requirement is to create a dashboard and to learn these technical things for database challenges, and then how to handle the data corrections, workings, creating logics through formulas, functions, and then making a layout. So this video is definitely relevant for you. So if you belong to finance, MIS, supply chain, marketing, compliance department, audit department, I mean any department, nowadays every department has the data and they want to transform their old traditional reports to dashboards. So this video, comprehensive video, is beneficial for you. So let's discuss the layout. The layout consists of the drop down menus at the top. So I have put select call center. So when I click on any specific name of call center, you can see my all the KPI numbers and the visualizations gets filtered, right? And how they are filtering, because at the back end the logics has been defined in the working sheet. So we will discuss this in detail later on. And then we have the fiscal month list. Now this organization is working from July to June, so I have put the chronological sorting in this way. You can learn this like I have used VSTACK, SORTBY, and X match logic to make this list and sort it from July to June, right? So you can see here we have used this list in a drop down menu by going to data and then using the data validation part. Okay, so I will discuss this as well, but I'm giving you just an idea. If your organization is working on a fiscal calendar, then definitely we need a fiscal quarter. Now Q1 will not be Jan, Feb, March. Q1 will be July, August, and September, right? So definitely we need a helper column to get the fiscal quarters according to our dates as well, and then also the logic for fiscal year as well, because the calendar from July to June is the 6 months from the current year and then next 6 months from the next year. So I have created a column such as which is returning 2019 to 2020, then 2020 to 2021, right? So what I have did primarily is I went to the my data and I have created three helper columns. Okay, let me show you the logic as well. So we have three columns: fiscal year, fiscal month number, and fiscal quarter. Now fiscal month number is very simple. I have used two functions, month and edate. And why -6? Because we need to get the number of the month. So if I just use month and the cell reference, it will fetch the month number from the date cell. Okay, now because I am using the fiscal calendar, so my January will not be first month, it will be seventh month. Okay, and July will be the first month. So for that logic I am using -6 here. If your organization calendar follows from April to March, in some of the countries, in some of the organizations, they follow April to March calendar. So you can use -3 here. Okay, but for now I'm using July to June, so I'm using -6. Okay, then I need to also get the quarters as well. So for fiscal quarters, quarter one, as I told you, that will not be Jan, Feb, March, that will be July, August, and September. So again, I am trying to fetch the quarter number and using the month and date as well, rounding up, because that number will come as a decimal place because I'm dividing it by 3, -6 because of the fiscal calendar, and then concatenating with the Q character. So you can see Q3, Q4, right, from here. And for the fiscal year, uh, this is again a simplified logic. I'm using the if statement. If the month number is greater than 7, so that will be providing me the current year. Okay, and concatenating with the year number plus 1, because first 6 months will be from the current year and then next 6 months will be from the next year, so plus 1. Okay, and if it is less than 7, which is 1 to 6 from Jan to June, so the year number will be -1 and then concatenating with the current year. Okay, so that returns the previous year and then this returns the current year as well. So this is a simplified if formula, and I'm using the year text function to make it like 2019 to 2020 and then 2020 2021, right? So you can identify which fiscal year we are talking about. Okay, so these are three columns which primarily I have added into my database. Okay, this particular data is for 3 years. If you can see 2020, 21 and 22. Okay, and approximately there are 98,700 plus records. Okay, so again, when I click on any fiscal month, you can see it's again filtering based on this Chicago call center for the month of November. Okay, or you can filter it likewise, quarter 3, let's say quarter 1. So you can see all the objects are being filtered, or you can also filter it by specific fiscal year as well from here. Okay, so this is awesome, right? And we will be learning that how we can create such kind of dynamic and interactive dashboards. As I told you, that our main purpose is to use the dynamic array formulas. We have the alternate approach, which is that I can uh, append the data through Power Query and then load it to the Power Pivot, and I can create multiple pivots and slicers and then put it onto the dashboard. But those techniques has different advantages and limitations, whereas I have explored and trying to cover with this approach of creating a drop down validation from dynamic array formulas, and also all the visuals through it as well. Okay, so let's learn. These are the instructions. We will go one by one, which each instruction I will explain you in detail that how I am trying to create. You can find the file, database file, in the video description. You can download the unsolved file and follow the recording of this video and solve with me as well. Okay, so let's get started. I will be going through each and every instruction and requirement from here, and we'll first learn that how we can get the data and using the Power Query. All right, so now let's create the dashboard from the very scratch. So I have opened a blank Excel workbook and I have given a name to it. Okay, and there is just one sheet, which is sheet 1. Now what I will do is I have already created this file, which is the solve file. So I will just move my instruction sheet so that I can see easily there. So I will move it, right click, move or copy, and I will move here, create a copy. Okay, so I can have the instruction sheet. I don't need to go there. Okay, uh, now what we'll do is I will follow one by one instruction. What you can do is you can download the unsolved database file, and you can also try out with me as well by watching this video. So the first thing is we need a new sheet. So we'll just click on new sheet plus sign, or you can use the shortcut key. Now let's rename this, double click, and let's rename this as dashboard. We'll add another blank sheet that will be named as workings. Okay, where we will put all our logics and dynamic array formulas here. And also we need the data. So how to get data inside this Excel workbook? So we will not be using the manual method. Likewise, let me explain you. So I will not go to the folder and open this file manually and copy and paste. What we'll do is we'll try also to explore Power Query as well, and we will learn how to append that data. Okay, so what I will do is, for using the Power Query and doing the appending thing, I will go to Data tab, and then I will click on Get Data, and I will click here on Launch Power Query Editor. So that opens the Power Query Editor window, as you can see, and this is entirely blank. Okay, you can maximize this window as well, or you can resize this. Now on the very left side of this window, I will right click here. That will open a small contextual menu. Go to the new query. Okay, and then go to the file, and we want to get the data from a specific folder, right? So we will select folder here, or you can click here, and now you need to navigate where your folder is. So I have that folder located. Let me show you. Okay, so on my local disk D drive, I have this folder, and the name of the folder is database. So I will click on open here, and taking few seconds. Now this is showing me this metadata here. Okay, and I will not click on combine and transform. Why I am not doing it? Because later on I will put more Excel files in this specific folder, and what could be happen is some files contains more columns, some file contains lesser columns in your data. That could be a probably a chance, or some columns does not follow the same sequence in each of the file. Okay, so we can have those issues, or you can say that in these files either the data is not, might be not in a table format, it could be just on a sheet, right? So for all those things, we need to use an M language code that will be excel.workbook. Okay, I can use combine and transform in such a case. That could be very ideally where we have all the Excel files and the sheet names are same, or they have tables and table names are same, and the column sequence are equalized. But most of the real time cases that is not possible. So to minimize those appending risk, I will click on transform data. Now that metadata will be shown on the Power Query editor, right? And we'll use that M language code that would be flexible for us to handle all those challenges, as I told you. Okay. Now, what we need here is just we need to retain the content and the name column. The remaining columns we are not required to have it. So we'll select content and name by holding the control key, and then right click, and from this contextual menu click on remove other columns. So we just have now content and name column. Now we will add a custom column. For that you can click on add column, click on custom column. That will open up again a window, small window. Now let's give a name to this new column, which is database, or you can write any name you would like to. I have just defined a simple name. And in the custom column formula, that starts with an equal sign, and remember that whenever we try to put M language codes that are case sensitive, so we need to follow the exact pattern. So we'll use the code Excel workbook, bracket open, Excel dot workbook, bracket open, double click on the content, that will automatically put it here. Close the round bracket and click OK. So we have a custom column name as database. Now you will find a drop down menu on the right side of this title, and you will find all those columns. Just uncheck this, use original column name as prefix. We don't need that. Click OK. And now see, in the kind column, this is very important. In the kind column, sometimes you see sheet and then table. So, I mean, this identifies that this particular Excel workbook for 2020 contains the data, but in a normal range. I mean, the data is not being converted into a table format or a structure format. If is it so, so the Power Query will be able to show you table, and our preference is always to get or fetch the data from tables. But as now you understand that this particular file contains a data in a sheet, not as a structure format of table. So it's just showing us the sheet here. Okay. Now we want to fetch all the columns from that sheet from the year 2020 file. Okay, so we'll go to this custom column we have made, which is data. Open this and it will show you columns, all those columns which are there in that particular file. And it shows you like column 1, 2, 3, 4. Why it is showing these things? Because if your data was in a table format, then it shows you headers, relevant header names, but it is also now it's basically as a sheet format, so it's showing you this default names of the columns. Okay, but we can correct this in the transformation phase here. Okay, so just open this menu and do not make changes anywhere, just click OK, and that will fetch all the columns that were in that 2020 sheet. Okay, now we need to get rid of unnecessary columns, so we don't need content, name and name.1. So we'll select these three columns, right click and remove columns. Okay, and we'll go at the end. We also don't want item, kind and hidden columns as well. These are extra unnecessary columns not relevant to our analysis part. So we'll select these and click on remove column. So every time when you use excel.workbook code, these extra columns are there. So once you fetch the data, you need to remove these columns. Okay, now the relevant columns, as you can see here, and also you can see the title like column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. What we need is the raw number 1, which consists the exactly right column header names. We need to convert this as a title. So we'll go to home tab, and here you can see the feature called use first raw as header. So we want to convert our first raw as a header part, so we just click on it and that will convert it, right? You can change the date format as well if you want to. From here you can see each column has a data type property. You can change from a small icon which is on the left side, so you can convert any column to its respective current data type format. Okay, now if we find that all things are done and good to go and all your transformation has been done, so you can click on close and load. Now remember, my data is not in millions of rows. If my data was in millions of rows, so I can click on close and load to, and then I can use add this data to data model that can goes to the power pivot, and then I create multiple pivots out of it and slicers. That would a different technique. And if I want to use some logics into the power pivot, so then I need to use the DAX. But what I am doing here is my data is not in millions of rows, so I will load this transform data on the main sheet. So I will select the first option, that is close and load, and that will insert a new sheet, okay, which is called as database, and you can see my data is being loaded. So I have bring this data from a specific folder called as database, right? And all my columns are there. So as you can see, currently for this database, I have 32,941 rows. Okay. Now what happens? Because I have just one file in this particular folder for the year 2020. Now what happens later on next year, for example, if I copy this 2021 file and put here in this folder, just I have, you can assume like you are using some kind of ERP software and you have fetch the data into an XLS format and you just put it into this specific folder. Okay, and when I go to my this Excel workbook where I use the Power Query to append the data from a folder, currently you can see 32,941 records, and as soon as I have put another file, now I need to just refresh. So right click refresh, or you can click on refresh from the data tab as well. So as soon as I click on refresh, now see what happens. Now my number of records is being increased. So now it's showing me 98,825 with two errors. And let me tell you that what are two errors, because these could consist of headings as well. So I have now data for the year 2020 and 2021 as well. But if you can see, I have some blanks as well. If I filter these, so these are basically the headers which are coming from those two files, because the data is not being converted as a table format. They are coming from a normal sheet, okay, normal ranges. So headings are also coming as a part of record, and you can see here. So we can eliminate this in the Power Query. But I hope you understood that how simple now it is, that whenever you put more files into this folder, you just need to click on refresh here and your data will get append. And the best part is that when this particular data will consist of my some workings and logics, and that will be connected through the dashboard sheet, all the entire process will be dynamic and update automatically. Okay, so now what I will do is doing some correction here. So you can go back to the Power Query, right click, click on edit, and this will open Power Query editor window. Now we'll select, open the drop down menu, click on load more. That will read two files. Now what we need is, we need all, but we need to get rid of this heading. So I just uncheck that sentiment, click OK, and now I can click close and load. That will refresh again, and that will provide me how many number of rows has been loaded. So now you can see there are no errors because I have just unchecked those headings, and that is being excluded in this part. Now what happens later on, if I after creating the dashboard, what I will do is copy this next year file, which is 2022, in this database folder, and I just need to refresh my data here and all the things will update automatically, right? So I hope you understand this. Let me show you one more thing. Let's say currently we have 2 years of data, right? 2020 and 2021, right? And there are 98,000 rows of records. For instance, if I copy the next year file and put it in this folder, and I go back to my Excel sheet, right click and refresh. Now see what happens. Now the next year data is automatically being fetched from that file and appended with this data automatically. Boom, right? So that's the awesome thing about learning modern Excel, like Power Query, Power Pivots, DAX, dynamic array formulas. Okay. Now you can see I have 164,000 rows, right? And if I can see from this drop down menu, I have 2020, 21 and 22, 3 years of data got appended successfully. Okay, and if I just delete this file from here, and if I can right click and refresh, so let me show you that as well, because now the file is not there into the folder, so it goes back to my 98,000 records. Okay, and one more thing, let me tell you at this point of time, for instance, if there is anything changed in the raw data, for example 2020, let me open this Excel file of raw data, and if I intentionally add more records, for example, if I copy my last record and paste here, okay, so I'm doing it intentionally just to make sure I can give you a positive. So let me make some changes. Let's say if I rename this as ABC, negative as positive. So what I'm trying to do here is explaining you that if later on, if any of your raw data record gets edited, deleted, or appended, or new records has been added into this sheet, let me save this file and close it. And when I go back to my dashboard database, which is coming from the Power Query, so I will at this point of time, if I filter 2020, so I will not find the customer name such as ABC. Okay, no matches. So you can see no matches, but as soon as I make it refresh, right click, refresh, and see it's reading, and if anything, I mean new record has been added, so now the 2020 is being filtered, and if I go to the customer name as ABC, so it's searching now. See, this is being added automatically, right? So I have just added 3 records manually to check that anything later on gets edited, deleted, or appended, or having new records, that is being also controlled by Power Query as well, right? So I hope you got an idea. So let me undo this because these are not relevant for our records. And now let's move towards the instruction sheet and let's try to create the dashboard and with the workings. Okay. All right. So now we have entirely blank sheet for the dashboard and we will learn how to make it. Okay, so let's go to the instruction sheet and follow the instruction one by one. So first is we need to add a text box and the title we want to give call center analytical dashboard. Now according to your business use case, uh, once you learn all these technical things and very interesting tips and tricks from this video, you can replicate this on your own real-time database and you can give relevant suitable titles and icons. Okay, so let's follow the instructions. So we'll go to the dashboard sheet. For the text box, we'll click on insert, and in the illustrations group we have the shapes and we need to click on text box. Now we can draw this text box and we need to give a title, call center. This is basically a descriptive analytical type we are doing. There are 4 you can say stages or methods. The very common and famous is descriptive, when you have the historical data and you try to find that what happened based on my historical data, and you do some aggregations like sum based on criteria, try to calculate average, count, okay, highest, lowest. So the 4 stages, like the descriptive is the first one, then diagnostic, then predictive, and then prescriptive. So we are learning about how to create the descriptive analytical dashboard with the Excel 365 dynamic error formulas. So let's give a heading: call center descriptive analytical dashboard. Okay, and you can do all the formatting part like resizing this or making it center. From the home tab you will find all the formatting things right here. Okay, also because this is an object, when you click you will find shape format tab enabled as well, so you can later on unfill the shape fill and also the outline as well, no outline. Okay, so that it could look transparent on the back end. So we have given a heading here, this call center descriptive analytical dashboard. Now what we have is in the solve file you can see we have this image or icon. Now there are two methods primarily, there could be many more as well. The one is that you can find this image on going to a website, Google Images, and try to find from there. Okay, or you can use the icons within this Excel version. So let me show you. So go to insert illustrations and you have this icons. Okay, so when you click, a window will open and you can either find from here based on, there are a lot of stock images available, and it is written as a Microsoft 365 subscriber you have access to the full library of creative content. But if you don't find this particular feature in your Excel version, no worries. You can go to Google Images and then type that topic and then copy and paste within the Excel worksheet as well. Okay, that will work as well. So let's say we want call center image. So we got this image. If it's relevant, let's insert this. Okay, now we got this as well. Okay, so according to your topic you will be finding your relevant image. Right, now let's go to the instructions again. We have done this first instruction, that adding a text box and giving a suitable title. Okay, now we need to also add the KPI text boxes as well, as you can see here, these boxes. Okay, so how to add them, and also you can find there are some images as well. So I have this from Google Images and I have put it in my folder as well, so you can see here. Okay, so I will insert those images as well. So let's do that. All right, so now let's add the 4 text boxes for 4 KPIs, and let's give that theme color to it as well. So for, again, boxes will go, because they are shapes, so we'll go to insert illustration shapes and we'll insert this shape which is rectangle rounded corners and we'll draw. Okay, now we need to give the color. So I mean, in this particular video I have already identified the relevant RGB colors for my visualizations and the boxes. Now when you create dashboard, let me show you such a way, so might be these colors are acceptable for your organization, or your organization has already predefined RGB color code, so you will add those colors. Okay, but for this video learning part I have already defined RGB code colors, so let's give it. So that is 186 and 91. So we'll select, then we'll go to shape format, shape fill, we'll click on more fill colors, that will open a window, and in the custom we have this RGB. Okay, so 186 and then 91 and click OK. So you will get that exact similar color. And for the borders, for the outline, you have a choice, either you give it black, white, or go with the same color. Okay, now this is the first box. Now we don't need to follow the same procedure again and again. We will select this object, Control C, Control V, and put it right here next to it after some gap, and we need 4, so we have now 4 boxes there. Okay, just like here in this dashboard. You can later on customize its size like length or width, no problem. Let me tell you how you're gonna do that. Um, Click on the first box, then press the control key and then click on the other boxes, so all boxes are selected. Then you can go to shape format and you can increase or decrease the shape height and width from here, so that will impact on all boxes together. Okay, now the next instruction we have here is to uh, add the slicer for the call center. So we need to define that area as well. So we need the top portion for having our drop down menus, as you can see here in this dashboard as well. Select call center, select month, and select year. Okay, so let's create here now. So let's write select call center. Let's put one row on the top, make it a bit smaller in height, and we can select these two cells and make it merge. Okay, and wrap text. And we can define this cell address, because at this point this cell address is E3, but when we go to the working sheet and we'll try to execute the dynamic error formulas, we need to refer this particular cell to connect with the logic. So we will not doing it like traditional approaches, that we'll go again and again to the dashboard and select it manually or write it manually here in the logics. What we can do as a best practice is we define a nice name to this cell so that we can call later on in any of the dynamic error formula argument there as well. That could be readable and easy for us to remember. So what I will do is, this particular cell is at this point E3. I can just click on this name box and I can rename this cell name as select underscore call center. Okay, then after 1 or 2 columns you can go for the next drop down name, select month. Okay, and let me again merge them, and will merging is not necessary, but for the spacing idea I have used these two cells. Okay, uh, okay, so go to the name box and let's write a name, select underscore months, and then after 1 or 2 columns select year. You can also create for the quarter as well as you want to. Okay, let me rename this as select year. Okay, so if you want to create a drop down for the quarters, you can do that as well, but for that you have to go in the database and you need to add a column for the quarter. Okay, let me do that as well for you. So select quarter. Okay, and this is just a one cell, we don't need more space, so we just select the cell and go to the name box, select underscore quarter, press the enter key, and the last one is select year. Now remember, we are making this dashboard for the calendar which follows from Jan to December, but I will also tell you if your calendar is a fiscal year from July to June, no worries about it. Okay, now for select year, um, go to the name box, rename this as select underscore year. Okay, let's make it a bit bold. Okay, and this is the portion we have created. Now for the quarters, what we are required is we have to go in a database and add a column and write a logic or formula for the quarter, and then we'll use as a drop down here in the dashboard. Okay, all right, so let's add a quarter column. So let me write the title first, quarter, and let me write the logic here. Let me zoom this as well. Okay, so equals to, then first we will get the number of the month. So equals to month, bracket open, and we'll call this column which is call underscore timestamp, which is basically consist of the dates, and let's close the bracket. Now that will give us simple the number of the month. For example, it's if it's January, it's 1, if it's April, it's 4. Okay, now we need to basically make a column which gives or returns like quarters, Q1, Q2, Q3. So the first 3 months, Jan, Feb, and March will be Q1, right? And then Q2, and then so on. Now for that, what we'll do will, because we know that there are 3 months in a quarter, so we'll divide this month number by 3. Now that will return dates, but we need to correct the format. So we'll select the column and let's click on this decimal comma formatting. Okay, now you can see the numbers are coming like 0 0.3, 1.3, something like that. Okay, so what we need is like 0, 4, right? So what we need is to correct this and make it rounding upwards. Okay, so just like 0 0.3 should be converted as 1, 1.3 should be converted as 2, okay, 2.3 should be 3. Okay, so for that we will be nesting with the round up. So we'll use equals to round up, and then comma num digits, number of digits 0, bracket close. So now you can see 1, 2, 3, 3, right? And then we need to add concatenate the alphabet Q. So where in the inverted commas we'll have the capital Q and ampersand sign, and that's it. So it returns Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, right? So this is for the normal calendar years following from Jan to December. Okay. All right. So if you ask for fiscal calendar year, so that will be changed, and in that case, January, February, March will be the quarter 3, and July, August, September is quarter 1. So I have told you about the normal calendar years from Jan to December. We have used month function to fetch the number of the month, then divide by 3 because there are 3 months in a quarter. The results come in decimals, so we have put round up, okay, and Q with the concatenate. But if you follow the fiscal calendar from July to June, you have to just add another function, that is e date, and use -6 for July to June. Okay, let me show you that as well. So I have already here fiscal quarter calculation. So see, all things are same, but I have put eDate function which will go 6 numbers back with the actual month number. So I have put -6. Okay, remaining things will remain exactly the same. Okay, so this is for fiscal quarter. Okay, thank you. All right, so now we have this space to have this drop down menus working as a slicer for our dashboard. So now it's the time that we need to make a drop down list for these fields, and before that we need to do workings here. And remember, this tutorial is basically based to explore and learn about dynamic array functions in Excel 365. Okay, so we will be using for all technical things and details and logics in the working sheet with the help of dynamic array formulas mostly. Okay, so we need to add the slicer for call centers. For that we need to start making the workings and start applying the dynamic array formula logic. So let's start. The first portion is for drop down lists. Okay, so the first list we need to create is for select call centers. Okay, Now, how to get the call center names here? Let me explain you. So we have a database and we have the column name is call center, and we have a data of all the call center names, but we need a unique names of it. Okay, so how are we going to do that? So very simple, equals to will use the unique function. The first argument is the array. All right, so the data is already converted into a table format, so we don't need to go manually to the database sheet and select the column. So we can call the name of the table, which is as database, and then open the square bracket. That will fetch the list of all the heading names available in the database table. So we need to select the call center, then again square bracket close and round bracket close. So that fetches the list of call center names, and you can see this is not sorted. If you want to sort it alphabetically like A to Z or Z to A, what you can do is uh, after the equal sign you can add or nest a function called sort. The first argument is the array, which is this unique function. Then at the end write a comma, then sort index, how which column we want to sort. So we have just one column array, so we'll write one here. Then the next function argument is the sorting order. For ascending, the positive one. For descending, it's -1. When I close the bracket, now you can see the call center list has been sorted alphabetically A to Z. If you want to do opposite, you can use -1 here, right? So let's keep it +1, I mean ascending, right? Now we also want the field, or you can say a word called select all, okay, at the very beginning, and we want to stack that word with these names as well, okay, vertically. So we have the function called VSTACK. The array one will be that select all name, which will come in the quotes. So select all, again inverted commas, then comma, and then array 2 will be this particular logic, and at the end just close one more bracket. So now at the very beginning we have always select all, and then the name of the call center has been sorted. So this is the first use case of having a list as a unique of all the call center names from the database table, sorted as ascending from A to Z, and appending vertically, or you can say stacking vertically, another name which is select all at the beginning. Okay. All right. Now we need to have this list as a drop down menu on the dashboard here in the select all. Okay. Here in this particular cell, right? So for that, we have to go to this data tab. Let's click on data validation. We need to create a list, so we select the list, and in the source we'll write equal to, we'll go to the working sheet, and then we'll just click select all and add the hashtag, because dynamic array formulas results is spill, so we don't need to select the entire range. Okay, so whenever you use the dynamic array formulas and you know that the results spill automatically, so you have just to click the first cell where the result output is there, and then you need to use the hashtag, and later on if more names will come, that will automatically expand the range here. So that's the advantage of dynamic array formulas. Let's click OK, and now we can see we have select all, then we can click any specific call center name, right? See how easy it is. Now, the benefit which I told you here, let me show you a demo. For example, in the call center here, if I write any new name, for example, Karachi, okay. So when I go to my working sheet, see the Karachi is automatically added here. That's the advantage of dynamic array formulas, right? So the Karachi is being added here, sorted alphabetically, and also when I go to my dashboard sheet, You can see Karachi is there as well, right? So these are the kind of things, tips and tricks we want to learn when we create dashboard in Excel. So I hope you understand. When creating this drop down menu, we just selected how we go to data validation, we click on list equal, and we don't select like this entire range as I told you, like B5 to B10. No, uh, just select the first cell and use the hashtag and click OK. That will create the list for you. And whenever any new name will be added, that will automatically update. Okay, that's the idea which I wanted to give you. So let me just undo. So we need to keep the original data, right? All right, so I hope you understand the advantage of it, and I hope you understand the logic of first drop down list we have created for selecting the call center. So we have used unique, sort, and VSTACK. Okay. The next is for select months, and afterwards we need select quarters and then select years. Okay. So now we need to complete this and then we need to link with these cells on the dashboard. All right, so now we want to have a drop down list for the months. So we need to fetch the list for the months. So now it's easy. Equals to unique. The array is, we have a database as a table and we need to fetch the month names from the month column. Close the square bracket, close the round bracket. Now that simply fetches the names of the month, unique, okay, from Jan to December. But you can see this is not sorted um, either alphabetically or chronologically. And our motive is to sort Jan to December chronologically, okay. So the unique function has just entirely fetch the unique records from the database table from the month column. Okay, so if I want to sort it, let's say if I add the sort function and I want to sort, index would be just my one column and ascending and close the bracket. So now you can see it has been sorted A to Z, but still we will not be using this list as a drop down from April to September. We want January to December, right? So even if I use +1 or -1 for descending, that sort from Z to A, okay, I don't want that. So the sort will not work here. We need to use sort by function. Why? Because we will take a help from a list of month and we will use X match function for chronological sorting. Okay. Now, how to do that? Let's learn. So I hope you understand why we are not using sort function, because the sort function has the ability to give us ascending or descending sorting, which is not required. We need a chronological sorting. Okay, so equals to let's delete this and let's write sort by. The array would be the same. We want unique list from the database table from the month column, right? Then by array. Now we need to define how we want to sort it, right? So we need to use the X match function equals to X match, the lookup value. Okay, now what is the lookup value? Now before that, I need to create a list here and I will tell you why I am creating this list and is it necessary to create it or not. So I will explain you. But first let me create a quickly list of month names. So January till let's say December. Okay. All right. So now apply this logic. We used sort by function. Okay, this is our array, which is the list of the months, but this is not sorted. We need to sort chronological. Okay, so we'll use X match. The first argument of X match is the lookup value. Okay, so we need the list of months. So we'll just select this logic Okay, Control C and Control V. Okay, so this is the lookup value, which is all the names of the month. Then comma lookup array. Now how we want to sort this list? We want to sort with this particular sequence, so which is in I5 to I16, I mean January to December. Okay, and the match mode is the exact match because all my lookup values are in text format, so we need an exact match, and close the bracket. Then in the sort by function, sorting order, what sorting order we need? Ascending, I mean Jan to December. And let's close this. So X match will help uh, for chronological sorting from Jan to December, and let's close the bracket. See, now we have January to December sorting list available. But what happens if I select my this helper column values of month list, and when I delete, it also affect this uh, result list as well of the months, right? Which I don't want. So I mean, what happens in future if you give this file to some user, and that person intentionally or unintentionally delete this range, or delete this column? I mean, your logic will not work here, right? So what we can do is, instead of taking an helper column help, what I can do is, this range I5 to I6, I will make array inside this argument. So I will select this cell address from I5 to I16, and I will press F9 key. Okay. So when I press the F9 key, that will make this list. So see, now I don't have the sale range, but I have make it as an array which is stored as an argument from Jan to December. And the sorting is 1. If I use -1 here, for example, so that will sort from December to January. So if you want December to January, you can use this sort by argument of sorting order -1. If you use +1, that will sort January to December. So afterwards, if I delete this list, that will not impact here. Okay, so this is one of the good approach. And also I need this select all at the beginning, and I need to stack vertically. So what I can do, I will nest the function which is called VSTACK, bracket open, inverted quotes, select all, inverted quotes, comma, and then at the end close the bracket. So now I have select all, name of the months, chronological sorted with the help of sort by and X match, right? But for instance, if you are working on fiscal calendar from July to June, so I have made, so for July to June, just one change is your chronological sorting list will start from July, August, September till June, and remaining part or the logic will remain the same. Okay, so you can see for fiscal calendars July to June, the select all is coming with the VSTACK sort by. Why we are using sort by? Because we need chronological sorting. We are also adding X match function. Okay, and this is how it's sorted. If I use instead of +1 -1, it will reverse the list, and it will like June to July. Okay, but we need to use July to June in a drop down for fiscal. Okay, so now you can understand in both ways for normal calendar years and the fiscal calendar years. Okay, now let's proceed with select quarters list and select year list. For select months, now what we need to do is connecting this with the on the dashboard sheet. So we'll go to the data tab, click on data validation. We need to create a list equals to, and go to workings. We are not required to select the entire month list, just the first cell, because these are based on dynamic array, they spill. So after D5, the first cell, uh, put the hash sign and click OK, and now it will show you the drop down list for the months with the select all as well. Okay, So I hope you are understanding and finding it fruitful and all the techniques of using dynamic array formulas. Okay. All right. So for the quarters equals to unique, let's call the database name of the table. We have the quarter column and let's close the bracket. So it gives Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, and we need to add the VSTACK and add select all, comma, and close the bracket. So that is being defined for the quarters, and for years, let's add unique. Let's go to database table, call the year. So we have 2 years for now, 2020 and 21. We will add one more year later on once we finish with the dashboard. So to tell you that how the workflow works, let's add the VStack and add select all, close the bracket. Now, so we are ready to go uh, in the dashboard sheet. Let's connect these lists as a drop down in the dashboard sheet. So now you know how to do it. So we need to create a drop down list, right? Let's save the file first. Okay, so data validation list, and go to working, select the first cell, put the hash sign, click OK. Now we have the quarters here, and now for the year, drop down list, source equals to, go to the working sheet, select the first cell, hash sign. Okay, now we have the years, right? Now the next part is so far so good. We have done with the text box, logo, then slicers, understood the how we need to fetch the drop down list uh, values from the data, how to connect them onto the dashboard, right? Now we are ready to build 4 KPIs, how to drive total calls received, total calls duration, average calls duration, and then average CSAT score. It's the average CSAT score, SAT. Okay, so I will tell you two methods. First one would be the static one, and then the other one would be the dynamic. And then we proceed further with each of the visualizations, and we will be exploring more awesome dynamic array formulas logic here. All right, so now we are required to fetch the numbers or values of these KPIs: total call receive, total call duration, average call duration, and average CSAT score. So I will tell you two methods which are important to understand for the novice users and for the advanced users as well, while we link the numbers with the drop down menus. So let's get started. First, I will tell you the static way, and then we'll use the dynamic. Okay, and definitely we need to use the dynamic one. So total call received, how we get that number? So equals to count function, and the array will be from the database table, the ID column. So we are counting that there are total of 98,823 calls received. Okay, then total call duration is equals to sum of database table, and we have a column called duration in minutes. Press the tab key, you don't need to write completely, and then close the square bracket, round bracket. So that gives you the totals call duration. Then average call duration, so equals to, we'll use the average function. Let's go to the database table, and same column call duration in minutes, and this is the average call duration. We're doing the formatting part, and average CSAT score, so equals to average database is the name of the table, and then column name, and close the bracket. Let's format this. So simple, so easy. We have used sum, count, a function, sum function, and average function. Now how to uh, link these numbers and description to the dashboard boxes here. Okay, so very simple. Let me tell you the technique, and then we'll make it the dynamic based on the drop down selection we do. So we'll go to the insert tab, illustrations, shapes, and let's say we add a text box, and let's draw this text box here. Okay, so click on the text box border. Okay, and go to the formula bar, write equal sign, go to the workings, and then click on this cell, which is K4 in my case. Okay, and I will press the enter key. As soon as I press the enter key, I got whatever I write here. Let's say if I write my name here, Rahim, so when I go to the dashboard, it will show me Rahim, because this text box is now linked from the working sheet K4 cell. Okay, remember that. So let me undo this and let's go to the dashboard. Now we need to get rid of the formatting things. We don't need this white background, we don't need the border, we need to make it a different font style or font color. So let's do the formatting part first. Let's go to the shape format. In the shape fill, we click on no fill. We don't need any outline, no outline. Then in the home tab, we need font to be in white color, a bit bold, and a bit large in size. Okay, so total call received, and we put somewhere here. We also need to have the image as well. So the first method which I told you is go to illustrations and click on icons, and you can type your relevant topic and insert from here as well, or you can go to Google Images and save in your local drive and then import. So the other method, let me tell you, go to pictures, place in cell or place over cells. Okay, you have a choice. If you want inside a cell, you would select in cell, or if you want over it, you go with the next option. Now, how you want that image, either it is safe on your local machine or you want import from stock images or online pictures. So I have that image available. All right, so the folder name is here. So let's give the location of this folder. Okay, let's go back to Excel. All right, so we have here total calls received. Click on insert, and that image is here. Let's resize this image. Okay, and let's put it like here. Okay, now this existing text box, select this, Control C, Control V. Now we want the number of total calls. So this is in, instead of K4, that is in L4. Change the cell address, press the enter key, and see, here it is. So let's make it a bit white color, bold, a bit smaller. So our first KPI number for total call receive is here. But what happens when I select any specific call center, this number will not change. Even if I select any month, it will not update or change, or any quarter, because I have not make it dynamic. I have used the static function here in the working sheet, which is generally a count a function which drives total number of call receive from the database column, right? So I mean, we need to learn the logic in such a way that how we will connect these KPI numbers based on our drop down menu selection as well. Okay, so I will tell you that in next few minutes. Another technique is that once you prepare your box and whatever the images or formatting you want to do, later on if you find that you need to move this box to another place of your spreadsheet. Now what happens, these four are different objects, and when you just drag one by one together, I mean that creates a pain point for you to, I mean, spend a lot of time in dragging and dropping each object correctly. So what we can do is we select all the objects first. Just hold the mouse left key and press the control key together to select these four objects, and then we'll go to here in the picture format tab, which you can see on top right side, and we have the feature called group. So we are doing grouping of these four objects together. So when I click on group, now see this now one object, and I can move and drag to my spreadsheet wherever I want very easily. And if you later on find that you need to change certain icon or text, you can ungroup later on as well. So this is ungroup, right? And you can modify it according to your requirement, and then again you can go and group. So you can group and ungroup according to your requirement, but at the end we need to make it group so that our work become easier and less painful areas for us to consume time in formatting part. All right, so the first KPI has been done. Let's move to second, third, and fourth, and then we will learn how to make them dynamic. Okay, so again, let me repeat this. What we want. Let me ungroup this first because I want to use as copy and paste again. So this object is there. Text box. Control C, Control V. And now instead of K4, I know my second KPI is in K5. This is total call duration, and let's make it a bit bigger, right? And again, copy this text box, move it here, L4. Instead of L4, it's L5 now, and that's the number for total call duration, right? Do a bit of formatting for images. Now you understood. Go to insert illustrations, images, place over cells, this device, and we have totals called duration. All right, we have that image available. Let's resize this. Okay, and put it here according to your requirement, right? Next is, now I will select these two boxes, Control C, Control V. Let's move to third KPI and then fourth one. Okay, so the third one is in K6 and this is L6. So I hope you are understanding how we are doing this part of the dashboard boxes and defining the KPIs and linking that with the other sheet. Okay. Then next is this is K6. This will be K7. So instead of 5, it's 7. This is also L7, right? So let's format this. Average CSAT score. This is 5.5. Let's click bold. Okay, and if you want to put any image here, let's insert it quickly. Shapes and okay, pictures, place over cells, this device. We have this image, average calls duration. Let's move it here. Okay, so we are good to go, right? But what happens? We have created the four KPIs workings file, and then we connected with the four boxes linked with the working sheet. But at this point of time, it's not filtering it. This is not working with the drop down menus. Now we will learn that how to make it dynamic instead of simple functions. What functions use? All right, so now let's learn how to make dynamic so that it can work with the dashboard drop down. So we know that at this point of time, whenever or whatever we select from the drop down, these numbers are not changing because we have used a static one. Now we need to apply the functions and logics in such a way that uh, these numbers come, and this will technically link with the drop down menus. Okay, now for the first total call receive, we will be using a function which is used in older versions as well, and that is count ifs. So primarily for static we use count a function there, but because we need to apply the logics, the if conditions, multiple conditions based on the drop down. So let's move to the next line. I will press Alt Enter key. So the first argument is the criteria range 1. Okay, so we will be applying the criteria range first. So that will be, we know that we have four drop down menus. The first one was for the call center, then month, quarter, and year. So from the database table, we'll select here the column which is call center. This is our first criteria range. And in the criteria one, we will be using the if function for either an or condition. So you know that either a user will select or click on the select all. So that returns all the records from the database. Or the user will click on any specific call center name, right? So we need to have the if function here, and how it will work. If you remember, we have defined the cell customized names in the name box at the beginning of this video. So we'll call here in the logical test that select call center. So now the best part of doing this practice was that I don't need to go manually to the dashboard sheet and click on this cell manually and then return back to my working sheet. So I mean that save my time, that creates a less pain point for me to manually go here and there, and I can do intentionally or unintentional mistakes as well. So I'm what I have done here as a best practice is I have already defined the cell customized names as well, so I can not move to my dashboard sheet again and again, right? So first I will select here or call here select call center if call center cell is equals to select all. Okay, so I'm defining that if the user clicks on select all, then return all the results. So for that technique, I will use the static sign within the quotes. Now the static means here that it will find anything inside the cell, and I mean finding everything and returning those results as a result of count based on the conditions. So it's find everything in each of the records, and in the backend it fetches all the records technically. So if the user, if in this particular cell, if the user clicks on select all, return all records, otherwise whatever in the select call center cell, that fetches the results. Okay, and then I can close the bracket here and press the enter key. So at this point of time it's 98823. Now if I go to the dashboard, and you can see at this point of time the user has click on select all, but if I click any call center, let's say Chicago, and when I go to my working sheet, now see it's dynamic, it's filtering based on that particular record. So this means the logic is working fine. Now it's returning 16,333. If I go to my dashboard and if I click on Los Angeles again, see the number has been changed. And if I click on select all, and if I go back here, so see same result, right? So this is dynamic, but at this point of time I have just link my result with the first drop down menu of call center. Now I have to apply the similar logic three more times so that my this number also needs to link with month drop down, quarter drop down, and year drop down. So let's do it. Okay, so let's remove the last bracket, add a comma sign, alt enter to move to the next line. Now the criteria range 2. So I will not type again, I can just select the first logic, move to the next line. This time I just need to change the column name. So this time I need a month column. Okay, and I need to change the cell which is select underscore months, and here instead of select call center, again select months. Okay, so now see, let me show you the demo. If I go to the dashboard and if I click on January, and if I come here working sheet, so see it is being filtered and returning the right results, right? So I hope you have building the concept that how we do such kind of things with dynamic array formulas and simple tips and tricks and logics, right? So this is important to understand. Next, again criteria range 3, so I copy paste, don't want to write it from the scratch, just need to change the relevant field, this time for the quarters. Okay, then again I have already defined the name, so I don't need to go back to the dashboard and manually click the cell. I can call it here select underscore quarter, and here as well select underscore quarter. So once you follow the best practices, life become very easier for an Excel user. Otherwise you scratch your head. I mean, what kind of mistakes are going? Because once you build your business logics, it's become more bigger formula, and later on you find it difficult to identify what's going on there. Okay. Now the fourth one is for the year, and we have that cell select underscore year. Here also we need to change select underscore year bracket close. Now, all right, so now you can see the zero value is being returning here. It could be one of the possible way is that the year should be in a different format in the database column. So what we can do is that very easy. You know that this particular data has been appended through Power Query. So I can go to data, queries and connections, right click, edit. That will open Power Query editor window, and I can go to year column and make it as text. Okay, and again I can go home tab and click close and load. That will refresh in next few seconds. All right, so done. And now we go to the working sheet and see the result is there. Okay, now what happens when I go to my dashboard sheet, I can select any year, for example 2020, it giving me and updating that number. So that's how we have make it dynamic through COUNTIF function. Now for total call duration, it will not count if for static we use sum if, but we have to link it with drop down. So we need to use sum ifs. Similarly, average ifs, right? So let's do it. And I will not write here from the very start, that will consume a lot of time. So to save the time, I can copy the existing count if logic. And here I can just copy and paste, and instead of count ifs, I will use sum ifs. That's the first thing, and the first argument is the sum range. So the sum range will be from database table, and that will be based on call duration in minutes. And comma, press enter key, just write database here, and all things will remain same. Press the enter key. Now see, the same result is coming, but if I select any call center here, go to my working sheet, so see, this is working, both are working now. So one is with the sum ifs, the second one is the count ifs. If you put another drop down menu here, for example for any other field you would like to in future, so what you need to do is you need to add one more criteria here. Just copy and then paste below and change the respective column and cell address, okay, to make it dynamic. So I hope you understood now. Okay, so let's go to dashboard, let's select all, so numbers are coming fine. Okay, now here instead of sum ifs, I will copy this logic and paste it here. Instead of sum ifs, we want average ifs. That is there, the numbers are matched, and again copy paste. Now this time not call duration in minutes, average of CSAT score, so I need to change the column, that is CSAT score. And that's it, easy, right? Now what I need to do in the dashboard is that I need to change the addresses here so that it connect with the dynamic ones. Okay, so I will go here, and instead of L4 it will be now M4, right? So let's change the cell address, press the enter key. Instead of L4 it's M4. Okay, and make it a good formatting, bold. And if I select here, now you can see here when I click on any call center, now this is changing Awesome, right? So I hope you love this technique and you will apply all these technical things in your dashboard as well. Let's change for other ones as well. Instead of L5, it's M5, right? Then this one is M6 and this one is M7. And then select these three together, format, make it large, bold, and that's it. Now see, when I click on any call center name, all numbers are changing, right? All four KPIs in the boxes are changing. Even if I select any month, see, all drop down menus has been connected successfully. Awesome, right? So this is the first part. We have more exciting things in this dashboard. I hope you are watching this video and practicing as well. So let's move to the next part in the instructions. Now we will move toward the visualization part, and we need to explore more dynamic error formulas and to complete this requirement. So let's start. All right, so the first requirement for the visualizations is to create a bar chart based on number of calls by state, and we need to just have top 5 only. Okay, so let's go to the working sheet, and here we will create a logic. Okay, so first I will tell you the static way of doing it with a dynamic array formula, and then I will tell you how to link with the drop down menus, okay, or drop down list. So I will use a function called GROUPBY. This is available in Excel 365 version. GROUPBY and PivotBy, very powerful functions. So a GROUPBY function groups particular fields based on certain calculations we want to do. You can take an idea that if you have ever used pivot tables. So GROUPBY and PivotBy are basically based on formula based, and we can do all those things which we usually do with the pivot tables. So while using group by function, we need to fetch the results of number of calls by state. So the raw fields, the first argument in the group by function is the raw fields. So we'll call the name of the table, which is database, and we want to call a state as a column which will return the unique values, which is technically grouping, then comma, then the values. Okay, so the values will come from the database table ID column, and we need a calculation which will be count A, and close the bracket. Now when I press the enter key, all the state names are here, and at the end we have the total raw as well, and these are grouped based on counting number of uh, calls each state has. But what we need is we need number of calls by state top 5 only, and we don't need the total raw as well. So we do a little bit of modification now. So moving to next arguments, we have field headers. We don't want field headers, we can write 0. If we want yes but don't show, 1. 2 is for use no but generate, and 3 is for yes and show. For this particular scenario we don't want it, so we put 0 here. Total depth, we don't want any total, so we'll write 0. Otherwise you have other choices as well. And then we need to sort the column. Now in our this particular results we have two columns. The first one pertains to the name of the states, and the second one is the counting. So we need to count the second, we need to sort the second column, right? And we need to sort the second column, so we need to write 2 here. If I write positive 2, so it will sort ascending to descending, means smallest to largest. If I write -2, so it will sort highest to lowest. Okay, so as soon as I press the enter key, so now you can see all the states has been sorted based on the second column, largest to smallest number. And if I go back and instead of -2, if I write +2, So it goes like ascending to descending, smallest to largest. Okay, so I hope you understand why I'm using -2 here. Now I don't want all the state names, I just need top 5. So what I can do is, at the very beginning, I can add another dynamic array formula, which is take. So I just need to take first 5 rows, okay? And that would be the top 5 because I have already sorted them. So at the end, I will write in the second argument of take function, that is rows, I need to have 5 rows. So I will write 5 here, or I can give a cell address as well, which is Q2, okay? And when I press the enter key, now I got top 5 number of calls by state. And if I change this to 7, you can see 7. If I can write 2 here, these are 2, these are 3, top 5, right? But what happens if now I have the state names and top 5 count values? I need to create a bar chart, okay? So when I go to insert, and if I click on the 2D bar chart, I mean, it's not showing anything until unless if I select this range, insert, again, I will go to a bar chart. Okay. So when I create a bar chart, so as you can observe one issue, the flow or the sequence of the data as compared to the visualization is opposite. Okay. So every time when you add a bar chart, you need to reverse the y-axis. Okay. And let's do the formatting. We don't need these grid lines, so we'll press the delete key. We don't need this x-axis, press the delete key. We need to reverse this, so right click. So the last option, which is format axis, click here. You will find categories in reverse order. Just click, that will reverse. To make it more thicker, right click, format data series, and you need to decrease the percentage of gap width. You can add the data labels, right click, add data labels, that will add, right? You can put a suitable title to a chart, or you can link that as well. So I can just click on the chart title and I will go to the formula bar, equal sign, and press this cell, enter, and I can change this to number of calls by state top 5. Once I am done with my visualization, I can just press Ctrl X to cut this object and go to my dashboard sheet, press Ctrl V to paste this object. Now what happens, we need to understand. See, uh, I have created the visualization of bar chart based on number of calls by state for top 5, but these are not linked with the drop downs list. So when I click on any certain uh, call center name, so see, the chart is, the visualization is not getting updated, right? Similarly for the months as well. So now we will learn that instead of this static visualization, how we make this visualization link to this drop down list and make it dynamic. Okay, so now let's learn what certain modifications will be come here. Okay, all right, so now we want to make this dynamic array formula logic connected with the drop down list on the dashboard sheet, right? So now we need to learn that we will be using the function argument called filter array in the group by function. Okay, and we will be using if logic here, if function. So how to do that? Let's press alt enter key to move to the next line. Let's open the bracket. If select underscore call center is equals to quotes select all. So we are basically, first we are mentioning the logical test inside the if function. So when the user deselect all word from the drop down list, okay, and this select underscore call center is basically the name of the cell, okay, the name of the cell on the dashboard sheet. So if this is select all, so return all the values, okay, as group and count. So to return all the records, we will be using true in value if true, And if the user select any specific name of the call center, then from the database table, the call center column should filter which is whichever the name selected from the drop down list cell. Okay, and let's close the bracket as well and press the enter key. Now when I go to my dashboard and now look at here, when I select any specific call center, for example Chicago, my visualization gets updated and filtered. Why? Because I have used the if logic, and when the user click on select all, that gives overall numbers. When I select any specific call center, it's still working, right? So I have used the function argument here in the group by function, which is called filter array, and I have used if logic. If this cell contains select all, return all the records. So I have used true here. And if not, so whatever the name is selected, filter those from the call center column in the database table, right? Now this particular logic is connected with just one drop down list, which is the call center. Now I have to link this visual with three other drop down lists as well. So I will go to my working sheet and I will select the entire logic, Control C, copy. After two close brackets, I will put the static sign, which is the AND. It is used for the AND condition, okay? And then I will press Alt Enter, paste it again. Now I will change, instead of call center cell, I will use here month cell. Again, the minor changes we need to do, again the database table, we have to select the month column, and the cell name is select underscore months. Again, after two close brackets, put static sign, paste it, select underscore call center. Now we need to make connection with quarter, so we'll select this particular cell, and instead of call center column we need to select the quarter column, right? Okay, and select underscore quarter. Then again close brackets, static sign, alt enter, paste the logic, select underscore call center. Instead of this, we'll select for year, then database column will be year, and then again select underscore year. That's it. Press the enter key. Now it's ready to go. When I click on any specific month, my drop down is working and connected with this visualization, even if I select any specific year as well, right? Awesome. So I hope you learn how to do this, and this is not very much difficult. When you see the length of the formula, don't get confused. Have a perception that understanding of Excel functions, logics, fundamentals should be clear by the user. And once you are good at that, you can create more complex logics for your business use cases as well. I hope you are finding this video very useful and exploring how to use dynamic array formulas and creating the interactive and dynamic dashboard. Let's save this file and let's go to the next instruction, which is to create the bar chart, then filled maps and other things as well. Okay. All right. So now at this point, if you are thinking that this will work with the calendar follows months from Jan to December, and if you are working on fiscal calendar, so there is no big change, just a small change. Instead of this quarter and year, you have to select the fiscal quarter and fiscal year columns, okay, from your database. So I have selected normal calendar, quarter and years. Let me show you. I have also fiscal file as well. So if you can see here, I have used fiscal year and fiscal quarter, right? So this is the change, and I have already told you at the start of the video that you have to add helper columns to extract the fiscal quarter and fiscal years, and then use it in your dynamic array formulas to fetch the numbers accordingly, right? Now let's proceed to the other instructions. Now next we have to create number of calls by city, top 5. So let's copy this title. Let's go to workings and paste here number of calls, top 5. Okay, and now I will not create logic again from the very start, just copying the previous logic and pasting it here, and I need to change the name here. Instead of the state, I want the city column. Okay, and that's it. I got top 5 city based on number of calls, right? So I just have to change this particular field here. Remaining will be the same. And again, the bar chart is required. I select the data, go to insert tab, click on bar chart, and let's cut this object and paste on the dashboard. Now we need to do formatting part is we don't need x-axis, so click, select, delete, grid lines, click, select, delete, reverse the y-axis, right click, format axis, and check mark on categories in reverse order. To make it more thick, right click, format data series, decrease the percentage of gap width, right click, add data labels, and then link this chart title. So equals to, go to working sheet and click here number of calls by city. That's it. Now let me talk a bit about the theme colors as well. So I have already identified the RGB colors here. As in your case, you have to find out your organization theme colors to be placed on dashboard. So let me do it here for my dashboard. So for each of the bar, I will assign a different color. So let's say for the first one, uh, I have to click 2 times, because when the first time you click, all the bars is selected. When you click second time, that particular bar is just selected. You have to go to the home tab, click on this bucket icon, go to more colors, that window will appear. Go to custom and define that RGB code, which is 29, 148, and 156. Okay, that's the first color. Then second color, similar steps, go to bucket, more colors, custom, and here 17, 214, 226. That's the second color. Then the third color, go to home tab, click on bucket, more colors, go to custom, define the color 128, 128, 128, say okay. And next color of our own choices, let's say this one, and the last one will be light gray. Okay, so this kind of pattern you can follow, right, for the colors. And you can again resize this a bit, and you can do, if your data labels are the large numbers, because if you work on data sets like sales data sets where you have millions and billions, so you can shorten the numbers as well, your data labels. So just click, right click, and on this contextual menu, click on format data labels, right? Then expand the number, and then you have to select from the category, select custom, and in the format code, you can define like 0.0, comma, and K for the 1000 value. So that you can see here. Let's click on add. Okay, and once you have done with the first visualization formatting part, okay, let's say make it a bit bold, okay, and this should be smaller in size a bit, okay, and bold as well. So now I will not spend my time again to format exactly the same with this visual. What I can do is, now the technique is, once we have done with the formatting for the first visualization, select or click that chart, press Ctrl C to copy and click on the chart you want to apply the formatting. Then go to the Home tab, click on Paste menu, go to Paste Special, and from this window select Formats. So basically you are trying to copy and paste the formats from the previous visual. So in the Paste Special window, we'll just select Formats, click OK, and that's it. Exactly the same formatting has been applied and we have saved our time. Okay, so that's easy thing to do. Now once we have our colors, let's make it on this side. Okay, we have here the next requirement. Let's proceed to that. The instructions, we need to create a filled map. Okay, so filled map which is based on number of calls by state. So we'll go to the working sheet. So far we have done our two workings. The third one, number of calls by state. So now what I will do is I will select the entire logic from my previous part, and here instead of city I want the state column, and I don't need top 5, I need all of them. So I will remove the take function from here and press the enter key. So all the states are here. Now I will select this entire data and I will go to insert, and you will find map and you click on filled map. Okay, now press Ctrl X to cut this visual and paste on the dashboard, and according to your requirement layout space you resize this visual. Okay, now I don't want the series, just delete this, and if you want to change the coloring style you can change the colors as well accordingly. Okay, see, we have those colors available here. Okay, based on the theme colors you have. Okay, this one is fine. All right, the chart title, click on the chart title and then go to formula bar, equal sign, go to workings and click here, number of calls by state. Okay, and let make it a bit smaller and make it a bold. Okay, right, so we have got another visualization. We want to get rid of the border as well. So click on chart, shape, outline, no outline. All right, you need to hide these grid lines on the back end, on the background. So go to view and uncheck the grid lines. Okay, that's how it works. So click here, format, shape, outline, no outline. Okay, and that's it. So far so good. And let's check our dashboard so far. If we select any specific call center, see our visualizations and KPIs numbers, all things are being filtering. Awesome. Wow, when I click on any month it's being working. When I click on any year, yes, that's working as well. Right, now what is required is to make on the dashboard is the two column charts, one donut chart and bar chart, which will look like this. If I show you here, let me show you here. So this portion, number of calls by reason, number of calls by sentiments, number of calls by channels, and number of calls by response time. So let's make this as well. All right, let's proceed further. We need a column chart based on number of calls by reason. So let's go to the working sheet. Let's put the heading here, number of calls by reason, and copy the entire formula, paste it here. Now instead of state we need number of calls by reason. So we will be using the column which is reason from the database table. That's it. So we have billing question, payments and service outage. Okay, and these are the reasons, right? So we'll select this data. We need a column chart for that. So insert 2D column chart. Let's press Ctrl X Control X to cut. Dashboard, let's paste it here and learn some formatting parts. We don't need vertical axis, click, press the delete key. Don't need the grid lines, click, press the delete key. And let's resize this. We need to tick these columns. Right click, format data series, gap with percentage to be reduced. Okay, right click, add data labels. Okay, formatted, right click, format data labels, number, and we'll select custom where we have applied the 1000 formatting. Chart title, click on the chart title, go to formula bar, press equal sign, go to workings, click on the cell, press the enter key. Okay, we don't need the border, so no shape outline, right? And what we need here is the coloring scheme as well. So click on these bars, go to format, shape, fill. We have that fill color available, right? So that's great. Okay, now I can also revise this color later on as well. For example, for this part, I can have this dark color, teal color. Then I can have this light color, and then I can have this one color and dark gray and light gray color as well. This is the dark gray and then this is the light gray. Okay, and once you're done, you want to don't apply from the very scratch, you just copy the format. So select the first chart, Control C for copy, go to the next visual and paste special as formats, click OK. That's it, right? Awesome. Number of reason, calls by reason is ready. No need to have the shape fill, shape outline. Press Ctrl S to save as well, very important. Yeah, to save the file as well, right? All right, next is again a column chart, number of calls by sentiments. Okay, so copy and let's paste it here. I hope you understood how this is working. Just one logic is being finalized. I mean, remaining is just copy and paste, and you are just selecting the relevant column to fetch the results. So here we need, instead of reason, we need the sentiments to be called. Okay, press enter key. So now we have this as well, and let's select this. Again, we need a column chart here. All right, let's click Control X to cut. Let's put it on the dashboard sheet. Let's learn here some tricks here as well. We don't need vertical axis, y-axis, delete, grid lines, delete, and then right click, format data series, decrease the gap with percentage, right click, add data labels, click on the data labels, right click, format data labels. I'm repeating just to make you more practice how we gonna make this, because these all techniques will be handy either you are making your HR related database or supply chain or sales data sets. Okay, these all techniques are beneficial for you. For chart title, click on the chart title, go to formula bar, equal sign, go to workings, click on this cell, press the enter key, right? And we can do certain formatting part like bold or bigger in size, right? Now, uh, very positive is a good indicator and very negative is not a good indicator, right? So we will select the very negative and the bucket color would be red, and very positive is a good thing, but this is very small, less in numbers, will add a green color to it. Okay, now what happens, sometimes in some of the visualizations you have learned that the highest bar should be in a green color and the lowest should be in the red color. I mean maximum and minimum. But here the data storytelling out of this visual is very different. What we are trying to depict and focus is that very negative responses or sentiments based on the calls are not good for the business. So we are giving this red color. Instead of lowest doing the red color, we are not highlighting the maximum or minimum bar. We have a different business story to tell here to the audience, right? So very negative should be in red and very positive is a good thing. but it is small in number, so don't worry. I mean, this will come in the green color. Okay, so max and min have a different concept of storytelling, and the business use case where you have some feedback from the clients or sentiments, and you need to highlight those, have different aspect and logic as well. So I hope you understand that. Okay, because some users will say the minimum will come as a red color and maximum should be a green color. That when you are trying to make some categorical sales number visualization, in that particular case that comes, but here we are using the storytelling based on number of calls by sentiments. Okay, all right. So the others will come in the blue color, or I can do, what I can do is all the bars should be in a theme color, and then very negative should be in a red color, and very positive in the green color as well. All right, and I can run this dashboard. You can see here, if I can select any call center here, now you can see my all visualization, my all KPI numbers are looking very fine. Awesome. All right, so next visualization is donut chart, number of calls by channels. So let's make this. All right, so let's copy this number of calls by channels. Go to working sheet. Let's paste it here. Copy the logic of previous use case. Press the enter key. Now here we need to change the, instead of sentiment, we need to change uh, number of channels, channel column. Press the enter key. So we have 4 different channels: call center, chatbot, email, and website. And select the data, go to insert. This time we'll create a different kind of visual. Let's go to all charts and we'll create this one, pie of bar of pie. Okay, bar of pie. Click OK and just press Ctrl X to cut. Let's move to the dashboard part and drag it here, and let's do the formatting. Right click, add data labels. Okay, and we need to have the theme color here, so let's go and click on change colors. Okay, and then with these data labels, right click, format data labels. Now we can have different kind of labels. Category name, okay, that's very important, and separator as a new line. Okay, and then it can be in some different color so that it could be visible. And these should be the data label should be uh, let's say inside end. Okay, and should be in bold, or you can stay with this. Okay, this particular color should be a dark so that it should be visible, dark gray, right? And then we have email and web. Web should have a different color, let's say blue one. Okay, so that's how you work. And chart title, click on chart title, go to formula bar, press equal sign, click on working sheet, select the cell, enter, right? Go to format, we don't need any outline, so click on no outline and resize it according to the space you have given. Okay, so let me come again to here. So now see, this is being formatted. So you spend more time, you can format like this. If you want to have the data labels outside, you can select that. Let me show you. You click on this plus sign, go to data labels, and it's selected outside and inside end is different, outside and different based on your easiness. Okay, and the last one is number of calls by response time, within SLA, below SLA, or above SLA. Let's create this last one as well. So let's go to the instruction sheet, number of calls by response time, copy this, go to workings. I hope you will create this dashboard, and also you can replicate these all the techniques in your own data sets, business data sets as well. Now what we want is number of calls by response time. So instead of this channel, number of calls by response time, close, select that, and we need a bar chart. Let's click Control X to cut, go to dashboard, Control V to paste. Now you need to manage the boxes and visuals so that it could come to one page, because when you click on print, Control P to print, you don't have that print area set. So what you can do is press Alt V P, print preview, and you can uh, set the area whatever you want on the printing side. Now I can press Control P to print and it's visible, and then you can click on page setup. You want it landscape, you can reduce the margin sizes, center horizontally, click OK, and you can make it a bit bigger, let's say like this. See, so you can set the printing area as well, right? Okay, let's move to the normal. Alt V N to the normal, or you can go to view, or you have that page layout, page break, or normal view here as well. Okay, now let's complete this last portion. Alright, so this is a bar chart. Let's reverse the categories. Right click, format axis, categories in reverse order. Let's delete the x-axis. Right click, format data series, decrease the percentage of gap width. Let's apply the theme color. That's it. Right click, add data labels. We don't need the grid lines, delete them. Click on the data labels, right click, format data labels, and go to number, select the custom category. That's it. Chart title, click on the chart title, then formula bar, press equal sign, go to workings, click on the cell, press the enter key. Now you can resize this accordingly you want to set on your dashboard. Okay, right click, format data series. Still we have to reduce the gap width. Right click, format data series. All right, so we are done with it. Now let's click these objects and make it group. Go to shape format, click group, and you can move it in a better way. So again, select them, shape format, click on group. This is another group. Okay, then again select the objects, go to shape format, click group, and move. Okay, and the last one, go to shape format, click on group, and that's it. So in this particular example I have created 4. You can create 5 as well if you have more space and more requirement by the management, right? And similarly we will be making this visuals as well in the right alignment. Okay, then this one, and then number of calls, then number of sentiments. This one, we have still the space available, right? So a bit of time also spent in formatting and alignment part as well. That's usually is a dashboard practice, right? All right, we don't need the border, so we'll select these visuals, go to shape format, and okay, we have to do it separately. So let's do it. Format, we don't need no outline. Again, shape format, no outline, and here as well. So see, we have created a professional dashboard very easily, right? And let me zoom a bit. So now I can select a specific center. You can see my entire dashboard is being updated, right, and filtered basically. So now at this point of time, now the interesting part comes in. Once we have done with the designing, layouts, color schemes, logics, all the things, let's say we have just 2 years at the moment, 2020 and 2001, right? Now what happens later on if I want to have more data, right? So let's go to the folder. Now we have 2022 file as well available. So I will copy this. I will go to the folder which is database. Remember, we have applied the appending technique. So I have pasted the new file for the next year. And now what happens? Let's see. When I go to the data and when I click refresh all, and I have to wait a few seconds because the query is running at the background. If you see on the bottom left side, it's written running background query. This means that query is fetching the data and the new data as well and refreshing. So wait more seconds. Now see my dashboard updated, and when I click on select year, see 2022 has been here, and I can just click, and this is the picture of 2022, right? This 2021, right? And this is all. So this is the entire picture of my business. And if I go to my database, I can show you that we have 2022 as well available. And what happens basically when the user puts a new file in the folder, and when I click refresh here, so the data gets appended at the bottom, the new data is being appended here, and all my logics also updated here. So you can see 2022 is automatically added here. Also the numbers got updated because they are using the dynamic array formulas, and my dashboard also got updated as well just with one refresh click. So I hope you understand the entire workflow as well of creating such kind of dynamic and interactive dashboards as well. So next time you don't need to create any logic until unless you have some changes from the senior management. But next time you just need to put a file, new file here, or any other changes in the raw data, you just do it. And next time in the dashboard sheet, you just click refresh. That's it. So I hope you learn a lot from this video. Try to replicate, download the source file and the solve file from the video description. Try to replicate all those technical concepts on your data sets as well, and do let me know in the comments. Thank you so much.